Is it okay to walk in slow pitch softball? Let's talk about it in today's video. So, if you're new here, I'm Dan Blewett. I'm a former pro baseball player. I'm a slow pitch softball player as well. And I love talking about the mental side of softball. And I also, fun fact, I am a philosophy major. So I really dig this topic because I think there's a lot of nuance to it. So let's unpack it below. You'll notice that there's timestamps. So if you want to jump to some of the different topics, you can do that. But in general, I think we'll kind of walk from start to finish on walking, in slow pitch. So I'm going to give you a bunch of different scenarios where I think it's okay or not okay, or really lame or really irritating. But before I get to that, I want to talk about two things that I think are important in this discussion. Because yeah, I could go full hot take and be like, walking is horrible. Don't do it. Never do it. Very lame. Just go home on your couch. I do kind of feel that way, to be quite honest. But there's two scenarios here that I want to lay out first. Number one, I think we need to all have empathy for players who maybe don't have a lot of experience in baseball and softball and just want to be included and are trying their hardest to be good at the sport. And so if you remember the book Moneyball and the movie Moneyball, we know that not making an out is the most important basic thing you can do as a hitter. So imagine you're brand new to slow pitch, you're not very good, and you know it, and you're getting a chance to play on this team, and you're desperately just trying to contribute, all the while knowing that your swing needs a lot of work and you're working on it, but it's still just not that good, and you strike out a lot, or maybe you just don't get on base very much. This person probably realizes that when they walk, they get clapped for, they get on base, they have a chance to score, right? Especially in slow pitch more than any other game. You get on first base, you have a very good chance of scoring. So I think it's important to have some level of empathy for people who are less skilled, who figure out that walking as a tactic can be good for them because they do just want to be included. They do just want to be contributors. Everyone wants to be a contributor to their team. So as a basic, I want to just make sure I lay that out there. And I don't want to hate on that person because that person is doing their best and trying to make their way and be a contributor in the game. And number two, there are other players who have more hitting skills, but maybe walk way more than they should. And I think there's also stuff underlying underneath the surface that we maybe don't realize. If you didn't grow up playing competitive baseball and fast pitch, and got to a pretty high level, you also didn't acquire many of the mental skills that accompany it. It's very possible that as an adult, and you're just trying to contribute to your team, but you have decent, bat to ball skills, you might just be so perfectionistic that you're looking for this perfect pitch every time, and you're a little bit paralyzed and a little bit afraid to swing at anything beyond that. Because if I want to do well, I have to be perfect. And that's a thing that you learn to let go of as an athlete over time. Some athletes don't, but many of them do. Understanding that good every day is great long term. So I think there's often a mental skills gap in slow pitch with players who didn't have a long history with baseball and fast pitch. And that when they don't have that, I think there's more going on underneath the surface than just like, I'm trying to walk or I don't want to hit. So I think, again, having a little bit of empathy for that group of people who maybe have a little more fear and trepidation, fear of failure, perfectionism at the plate, I think that's also another important foundation for this conversation. All right, so with all that said, here's my main hot take on walking in slow pitch. We are here to hit, friend. If you want to walk, go for a walk. Go to the mall. You can be a mall walker. Stay at home on your couch. But if you're showing up to the softball field, the ethos is the game. It is a game of hitting, right? And we can see this where the fences are way shorter than the bats are, right? There's a million home runs. It is a game of hitting. It is a long drive kind of sport. So if you want to get on base, hit your way on base. That is my main take about walking. However, there are lots of different considerations within that I do want to discuss. So let's talk about number one. Number one, you don't want to be a selfish, terrible teammate and hurt your team's ability to win just for the ability to never, ever walk. And I was not this person my first season playing slow pitch, but basically I was there to hit. Everyone knew it. I'm here to hit. But also I was like 3 for 4 every game. If I swung at something bad trying to not walk, no one really cared because I'd already hit like a home run and 2 doubles or something. So like I was doing my part to win. However, the next season, there are more situations that became apparent where it's like, all right, it's not better for me if I swing at a pitch 3 inches off the ground because people sort of pitch around me a little bit. It's not better for me to swing at that horrible pitch that I'm probably going to pop out on 4 out of 5 times than walking. So in this case, if I'm only given horrible pitches to hit and my options are basically pop out or walk, I need to take the walk because that's what's better for my team. So that is an important consideration. Are you being a selfish player with this no walks ever mentality? Because you can definitely, get a terrible pitch your first pitch and get a terrible second pitch. Now it's 3-1 and you're like, all right, I don't want to walk. So you swing at something over your head, and that's not being a good team player. So we need to make sure we don't villainize people for doing the right thing as far as, helping a team win when everyone does generally care about winning. you have to still have plate discipline and get a pitch that you can drive. This has also been an evolution for me, something that I knew from the very beginning, but it's extremely important in slow pitch that if you don't get a pitch that you can drive, it's much less likely to happen. That seems really, really obvious, but you have to ask yourself, what does the situation dictate? What am I asked to do right here? So like for me, I'm a power guy on my teams. So if I come up with a couple runners on base and we still have home runs left within our limit, I'm looking for a pitch that's center cut, higher in the zone that I can just put a swing on and I can lift it and do my job to get those, cash those 3 runs. In other situations where maybe we just need a single, maybe we're out of home runs, I'm looking for a different pitch. And in general, if it's a tight game and we want to win, I need to just be disciplined in general. So no matter what the scenario is, I can hit the ball hard. I can't hit the ball hard when it's almost going to hit me on the inside. I can't hit the ball hard when it's over my head. I can't hit the ball hard when it's 4 inches off the plate and almost on the ground. So we still have to have a base level of plate discipline. And this is where it comes back to like everyone who knows me as a slow pitch player in my community, they know Dan is here to hit, but Dan's also not going to swing at garbage where he gets himself out. And that's, I think, the balance that you have to strike. That's the balance that everyone should strike. People should know that you're there to hit and you're never trying to walk, but you will walk if you can't contribute to your team by getting a decent pitch to hit. Now, look, I will expand my zone. I can hit lots of stuff, right? And if I don't want to walk or we just like need a hit, I can expand my zone as long as I feel like I can hit a ball hard. But that doesn't mean I'm going to swing at garbage, because swinging at garbage hurts my team and I'm going to get out, and I don't want to get out either. Now let's cover 2 more scenarios. First one, in slow pitch, if you're not a good hitter and you're just trying to walk, you do have to put in the long-term work to get better. I'm firm about that. I mentioned in the beginning that we need to have empathy for players with less skills because they're just trying to contribute, and if a walk is their way to contribute, we should embrace that. However, long term, you need to be practicing or doing something to try to get better, to get back to this ethos of the game, which is we're here to hit. So if you're in your 3rd year of slow pitch softball and you don't really put in much work to get better at hitting, and you're just a walk machine, that's what you do. You show up to the field and you go 2 for 3, or you go for 1 for 2 with 2 walks. I'd say you're doing it wrong, and you need to get in the batting cage, or you need to do something. Watch some of my YouTube videos, watch some other YouTube videos, go find a hitting coach and do something to contribute with your bat. Because long term, playing 5, 10, 15 or more years, which you can absolutely do in this game, you can play the rest of your life, you need to upskill to meet the ethos of the game, which is to hit. We're here to hit. So it's okay to use walking as a tactic to be a contributor for a couple years, for a little while, but you need to be putting in the work to get better. Don't just say, I'm a person that walks, and that's what I do. I show up and I walk, because that's not the right way to play slow pitch softball. Now, one of the things I really hate about slow pitch softball is these hitters who are good quality hitters who choose to consistently walk as a tactic for their team. This is completely against the ethos of slow pitch softball, which again is, this is an offensive game and we're all here to hit. If you're a decent hitter and you're here to walk, and walking is your strategy despite having the skills to swing the bat and roll the dice on getting a hit, then honestly, I think shame on you. I don't like that. I think it's bad for the sport. It slows it down. Everyone has to wait. It's just annoying. And it's like, dude, why are you here? You can hit, but you're choosing to walk. That to me is really, really irritating, and it goes against the spirit of softball. Now, how do we combat this? I think as teams, we need to have team culture meetings at the beginning of every season. I know players float in and float out, and your team at the very beginning might be very different than the team at the end. Every team, whether it's youth baseball, youth fast pitch, Major League Baseball, Division I softball, or even your local slow pitch team, you should have a 30-minute meeting before the first game of the year, whatever it is, and talk about, this is who we are. Do we run hard on everything, or is it okay to jog to first base if you hit a can of corn to short, or easy ground ball to shortstop? Do we cheer for our teammates, or is it okay if we heckle and get on our teammates a little bit? Spoiler alert, it should not be. We should always be encouraging of our teammates. You should have a culture meeting, and this should be a part of it. Be like, look, guys, I know some of you like to walk. We're not a team that walks. We're a team that is here to hit. We will walk if we don't get our pitch. We will walk if it is necessary. And like, as I mentioned before, if you don't get what you can do the job with, it's okay to walk. But in general, we don't want to be this team that annoys other teams because we walk 17 times a game because we use it as a tactic. That's not who we are. So if you or a team don't want that as a part of your culture, lay it out in a culture meeting at some point, hopefully in the beginning of the season. But ultimately, some teams do use this as a tactic, and it's incredibly irritating. It's like, dude, just go home and sit on your couch. Don't come out here just to walk to first base. All right, bonus take. Should you swing at a 3-1 pitch and just wave through it to get a strike so you get another pitch at 3-2? Now, this one is interesting. I think It depends on who you are as a hitter. If you are a singles kind of hitter, the answer is no. If you are a doubles to home run kind of hitter, and you feel like you have a very good chance of doing those things, then the answer is maybe. Is it a tight game where walking to first base is valuable for your team? Then the answer is probably no. Is it a blowout where it doesn't matter what you do at the plate? Then the answer is sure, just take that hack and get another one and see if you can put one in play. Now, it goes back to the same thing that I mentioned earlier in this video, which is don't be a selfish player. So don't be a selfish player where you swing at a 3-1 pitch and miss it just to get to 3-2 and then ground out to short or then pop up, to the shortstop. But there can be scenarios where you are the person that needs to do something specific. And often this is a power hitter, right? Maybe your team's down by 2 and there's 2 runners on. And if you hit a home run, you guys go ahead or you win the game. And maybe there's no one behind you who can do that same kind of thing. So maybe in that scenario, it makes sense to wave through one because you feel like this is more than a 50% chance that I can pump one out of here and win this game right now. That's it for this video on walking. I covered a bunch. Leave me some comments below. I know this is a big, controversial topic. Leave me your takes. Leave me your stories. Comment below, and I'll see you here in the next video.